Welcome to the GVTC podcast. I'm John Hill, Manager of Communications and E-commerce here at GVTC. And today I'm joined by my good friend and also my office mate, like two doors down from me, Miss Benjamin Wolfe, who is our Business Sales Supervisor. Welcome, Bejaim.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Business Sales Supervisor. Did I say that correct?
You did.
I think you got a more technical term than that, technical title than that. What is is it business sales
Yeah,
manager?
business sales
Okay.
supervisor.
Well, tell me a little bit about how long you've been at GVTC and kind of what your career path has looked like here.
Yeah, I've been with GVTC 14 years. I'll have my 15 year this coming April. I started in the residential sales department, and about 3 years in, I moved over to the commercial sales, and I've been selling since, and then was promoted this last September.
Yeah. So you worked very closely with a good friend of mine who just recently retired, who was our previous business sales manager, Mr. Dennis Binkley.
Yes.
Not certain Dennis is on the podcast scene. He may be now, though.
He might. Things have changed since he's retired.
So shout out to Dennis if he's listening.
Right.
But so you worked under him for a very long time. Tell me a little about what that was like when you were kind of, because you migrated from the residential side over to the business side. It's a completely different set of problems.
It is.
For trying to solve for our customers. What was that like?
So with residential, you are more working with that customer one and done, right? Kind of thing. You build that relationship, you get them in, you know, get the sale in. On the commercial side, same kind of sense, but you build a relationship with them where you get more future business. They'll call you for changes. They'll call you for ads, disconnects, right? They're moving out of our servicing area. You build more of a relationship with them. So throughout the years, I've been able to gain business, people that will still email me today, you know, that I started out. And with Dennis, he built that group with us. We've always been a small group. He was a wealth of knowledge. Let me tell you, that man had more stuff in his head. I mean, I could call him today and ask him, and he'd be like, yeah, you could, you know, you do this. Yeah, they did this. And I'm like, how do you still remember that from like years ago?
Yeah.
But so that's really helped. You know, I've learned a lot of learning to put things in memory. You learn the customers, you know their experience and what their expectations are. And that's really helped me with moving into this new role with our larger client base.
Yeah, so when people think about sales, right, especially people that have been in the sales industry a while, they think, it's about closing and being able to, all the different cliches you hear from the sales world, right?
Yeah.
But one of the observations I've always made here at GVTC is, both you and Dennis just have so much knowledge about the network and all this like stuff that you would think is like engineering stuff. But it's actually, y'all have to know these things about the network to be able to provide solutions, right? And then even engineer, come up with new ways to provide solutions for customers. How do you go about, I've just always been curious, how do you go about learning that? And then also, like you said with Dennis, it's like, storing all that information and being able to know how to solve problems for customers, because business customers are so diverse in their problems, right? How do you go about learning those things and then continuing to evolve as the network changes?
Dennis always taught me that you need to know the groups you have to work with, right? So being close with our network group and working with Chris Whitman and his team and getting over into the support side and working with Garrett and his team, being able to have those access points to know that when your customer's calling you for help, they've maybe gone through the chain of command, but they're looking for a speed up process, being able to get with those groups and ask them, what's going on? Can you help me understand? And those two groups have really helped me learn more on the network side. But then it's, writing your notes and keeping it there. And so as you kind of get more comfortable with it, you can kind of answer those questions as the calls and troubles come in or inquiries. And not being afraid to ask for help. I mean, I've learned that if you can go ask other departments, that helps you in your, performance with your customer, right? Their expectations, that helps them get a point of contact, and you become that point of contact. You own that customer. We've kind of built our department, to have that white glove feeling for our customers, being able to feel like they can reach out to their sales rep, their supervisor, that manager in our group, and we'll help get it taken care of for them.
Yeah.
And, I've enjoyed that. I like getting that relationship with the customer, but then having the relationship inside GVTC is important. So working between our departments has helped.
So, along those lines too, one of the things that I've observed about you and I really admire a lot is just the way you communicate is with a lot of clarity and it's very decisive in how you kind of, communicate and manage relationships, both internal and external. And I really I admire that about you. But tell me a little bit about what it's like now that you're, a supervisor, been here 15 years, and now you're leading a team.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you? What do you like, and what do you feel like you still need to work on?
Well, I know there's a lot I can work on. It's, I know what they feel like and what they're experiencing. So now it's just,
there, right?
And so now it's taking that team and those experiences and how can we make it better for them, right? Really diving into the, the process, the procedures, for them, and how can I make it easier and make them successful after, I've had success in sales. Everybody learns something different, and that's been my whole thing, my training mechanism with them is I'm going to teach you how I do it, and I do it probably the longest way, but that's how I've always been, attention to detail. But you'll learn your own shortcuts. And how can you perfect on your errors is by making sticky notes, and how do you find something that's going to pinpoint to fix that. So when you get to it in the future, you'll just make that, muscle memory of, missing that error. But I've always told them, make your customer your friend. They feel more comfortable. They're going to buy more from you. The more open you are, the more responsive you are. Being, a contact is going to be viable for you for future growth. And networking, that's how they refer you. They're going to refer you to other customers, So
people want to do business with people that they like being around, right?
Yes,
they like
very
talking
true.
to, right?
But I think too, when we talked about being thorough with the customer, in our world, not always selling the highest speed is going to benefit the customer, and finding out what their needs are. Is price point an issue? Then you need to dive in and quote on a price point for them. If that has nothing, that's off the table, then really dive into what their needs are and what their expectations. Always let them know you can start lower and build up, and let them make that decision, but give them all the information you can, and that's helped too in sales.
That's one of the things I've always admired about our business sales team. I think that team is full of people that I would like to do business with, right? But at the end of the day, we still have to provide solutions, right? What is kind of y'all's process about, we're meet a new customer, maybe they're with a competitor of ours, and that competitor, like they most often do, stinks at providing service, right? How do you go about, telling the story of the solutions that we provide, and how do you kind of coach the team up on that and then build that relationship? And a lot of people think of sales, they don't think of that, right? They think you're just trying to hit numbers or whatever. But this is actually providing solutions for people at the end of the day. How do you go about kind of telling that story and building that relationship as we start with a new customer?
So as we're trying to earn their business, right? Showing them it's right. We're talking about the customer experience. We're looking at, are we always going to be cheaper? Probably not. But so we're going to sell our customer service, and our customer service experience is also letting them know you're going to be their direct access point. They can email you, they can call you directly, and they're also working with somebody local. At the end of the day, some people might come back and say, they might be a little bit higher, but my experience in general working with them has been they're always going to find a solution for me. Did it take a little time? Yes, but I had somebody always reaching out, letting them know, hey, I'm working on this. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to help you get a solution. And if I can't give them solution to fix on our end, and it's something on their end, whether it be their network, giving them that guidance to say, okay, you need to go get with this individual on your team for your IT, and let them know that this is what's happening. As long as you've got that open communication, you're going to close that deal. And you're gonna earn more business down the road having that. And I think that helps us at GVTC is having that experience. And also, like I said, speaking with somebody local. You know, we're a small team, but they can call their rep and get them on the line.
Yeah, I have to believe it.
You know,
Like, I think there's a lot of value in just doing business with Bejaim, who, you know, our kids go to the same school, right? Or like in our example, like our children went to the same daycare, right? Those type of things matter, right? And just being able to tell that story and build that trust with customers is, I mean, I'm the same way. Like, we have partners and vendors that, you know, we work with here, and we want to work with people that we have a relationship with, right? And so that's kind of what I think we frame that a lot about. And I always admired that about how you go about that.
Yeah. And it's just building your team up to do the same thing, right? Not everybody's going to do everything the same way, but if you can give them a guidance and let them see how you did it, they'll be successful too. And they're going to build that clientele as well.
If you kind of you know, as you're out there dealing with customers in the community, what is the number one thing that you think, as far as GVTC provides, that really sets us apart from our competition?
That we provide. I mean, you're saying like internet or something like that.
Like what do you think is our go-to thing that is the biggest thing that if somebody's making a decision on doing business with us, what do you think that is?
I do think it's our fiber. I really would say people are impressed with what we offer on our fiber. They are told a lot of times from our competitors they're getting fiber, but they're not really getting true fiber, right? And so that experience of them and educating them, because those other providers don't educate their customers. They're, you know, they're in there just hooking up. They don't offer additional assistance, right? You're never going to get the same technician probably coming out. Let's talk about our small area of Bernie, right? Those people will call in and say, I want this tech to come out. He did such a great job at my install, and they are building relationships as well. And that makes you feel good knowing I can go reach out to, you know, Keith and say, Keith, I need this tech on this job. They love their, you know, they talked to them, they explained it, they educated them. And that makes you feel good on the sales side that they're getting handled in our other aspects, right, of our business. And so, you know, I think that's what we offer more of. I think in general, our technicians, to our sales team, to our billing, we just offer a better experience all over. I really do. I do believe our brand offers way better customer service than any other company out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I would agree. I think the network in itself, and just, I mean, that's one of the big reasons why I'm here and I work here, and I've been here 10 years is, you know, I work the big, you know, publicly traded government or company, you know, that was just a bunch of bureaucracy. And there was never anybody that was donating locally to like scholarships at local high schools. I wasn't working with people that, you know, were from, you know, here in the community. And so that's what I always feel like is the main driving factor of doing business with GVTC. But we've kind of dove in, and I don't ever want to turn these things into super pitchy stuff. I want to talk a little bit about you. You know, you've been here 15 years, you got a family, now you're in leadership. I mean, as a busy mom and running around all over the place and a wife, how do you manage all that? How do you keep everything kind of balanced?
I'm learning, John. I got a lot of gray hair to show my, you know, my experience now. GVTC, when I started here, has evolved so much, right? But I do feel that they have given back to the employee in general. I really do, from benefits to, you know, our 401. But, you know, when COVID hit, you know, there was still direction. You didn't feel like your company was going to go away, right? And they've always worked with me when it came to having a sick kid or needing to leave early or anything like that. I've never had to really miss out. It's allowed me to keep a career and still be, you know, wife and mom at the same time. And I do value that. That's been a key thing for me. I mean, my husband will even say to this day, you know, you got lucky when you landed your job at GVTC. I mean, I thought my direction was going to be the medical, you know, and look, I'm selling. I never knew that I would have the love and passion for sales.
Yeah.
And on top of it, sell telco. I did not know anything about telco coming in. And, you know, I had good leadership that taught me the ways.
Yeah.
And I hope that I can build my team to, you know, have the longevity and success that I did to want to stay with GVTC. Too.
What do you kind of tell other, you know, people that they came to you and asked you about getting into sales and, you know, at GVTC? What do you kind of tell them as far as, you know, the is it something you encourage people to do? Is it something you
there
think
is a different breed for sales?
Yeah.
I do.
What is that?
You have to have that drive, that competitiveness. I don't always want to say you want to be able to undercut.
Yeah.
But you do need to know how to have some wording to undercut your competitor.
Yeah.
Right? There are certain people that are made to be salespeople. My mom, it was so funny. We were recently watching this thing about birth, like how you fall in line, right? Your birth line.
Yeah.
Which I'm an only child, but
Right.
they say only children and firstborns are more predominantly sales individuals.
Really?
Yeah, and I guess because they've always had to kind of be go-getters in a sense, like they're
Got to be comfortable talking to anybody.
Yes, you didn't have siblings
that.
to be your friends, right?
Yeah.
Kind of more of the second and third born, right? They talk about how like they're more the free spiriter sides. They're okay with taking, you know, second place. They're not, you know, so I would say from growing up to now, I can see where sales did fit that. When I look back at how I was I always wanted to be in first place because I didn't have a sibling to compete with. So I'm like, well, I'm going to compete somewhere.
I can see that about you, yeah.
So if they've got that competitive drive and the will to talk and the will to want to succeed, they get that adrenaline rush when they close that sale. That's what makes them go back and sell more. So if you get that little tingle, then I can tell you you're going to be a great salesperson.
What about dealing with rejection and overcoming obstacles? What's kind of your approach on that? What do you imagine I'm coming to you and I'm like, man, I just really am struggling on dealing with people telling me no. And honestly, the truth is I don't deal well with people telling me no, right?
No's hard, right?
How do you kind of talk people through that and help them? Or is that something that's just inherent and you either have it or you don't?
One thing I remember Dennis always saying is a no's not really a no. I mean, technically it's not, right?
Let's double click on that.
It might be a no for right now, but it doesn't mean a no forever, right?
Okay.
So if you were seeing some pushback, right? Your pricing's too high. I guess I always kind of kept those customers back in that, you know, hey, and if we got new pricing, I'd reach out and I'd be like, hey, just to let you know, I've got some new promotions. Would you be interested in getting those? And I've won business down the road. Wow. I've had people email me a year later, hey, what's your pricing today? Like, we must have had some type of connection. I got on a personal level maybe with them. At that rate, a year later, I don't really, know that connection, but I stuck out there somehow. And maybe my persistence and, so like I said, really, no was never really a no.
Yeah, just being resilient, I guess, right? Being, just because they told you no once doesn't mean it's always going to be a no.
Right. I mean, when you think about big bids, right? You didn't win the first one. Next bid comes around, you got to still apply for it. Yeah. Got to be willing to put yourself out there. Maybe we're better. Maybe we've come up with something new. Right. You got to still get ourselves out there. Yeah. So no's not ever really a no. It's just no right now.
So along those lines, a lot of people think sales is just hitting numbers, right? Mm-hmm. You're hitting a quota, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people outside of sales, and I don't want to straw man this too much, but a lot of people think, oh, they're just chasing numbers and they're going to tell customers whatever they need to tell them, or, that's not necessarily the way that, that's an external view of sales, right?
Right. That's that car salesman, used car salesman.
And that's a great thing. Mm-hmm. Those guys have the worst reputation in the world, right? Nobody wants to deal with a car salesman.
Yeah.
But really it's about the individual salesperson and how they define success, right? And putting that a strategy towards getting that.
Right.
How do you define success in sales?
Well, of course, your goal, same thing. We do have that quota, that goal.
Right.
Success would mean that you don't give up, right? So you keep trying, because every month is going to be a new month. What we always say is in sales, the best day is the first day of the month, right? You closed one, you start over. There's no really, rest for the weary when it comes to sales. But success is being able to maintain it and continue to grow in your position and your tenure, right?
Yeah.
How long are you going to stay here? Are you going to continue it on? If you feel that you are slacking, those are when you see people move maybe in a different direction, because they're just not feeling it. They don't have the drive anymore. And that's when they're, going to change. But I've been fortunate. I've been able to finish almost every year at 100%, if not over.
That's remarkable.
And so that's what helps you stay with it, right? Because whatever you're doing you're doing it right. And that's, being able to come every day to work, shows
one of the
your
things
success, right?
I've observed in my career, and I think it's one of the remarkable things about you, probably, in my opinion, one of the most remarkable things about you is, so often successful salespeople are, like you said, they hit on they're super competitive. They know how to build relationships. They're great at all those things that make them great salespeople.
Yeah.
And then companies so often, in their normal way of process, they want to reward and promote people that are super, super successful. But it's often the case that the person that is the best salesperson doesn't make the best manager or leader.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
But I see that in you. It's like you're making this great transition of being super successful at sales, but then also being able to lead, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how does that, I know you've seen that play out throughout your career too, but is that something that's just in you and you figured out, or is that something that you think has been a part of your journey?
I think it's a part of the journey. I think, when I got the opportunity to become, the supervisor, which we had never had a supervisor, in our position. So there was a lot that I had to learn, but I knew that I had enough guidance through the years that I knew I could make it successful. I knew that I had been successful enough in sales that I had enough knowledge that I could start building a team to do the same thing and create them the same way,
Yeah.
Dennis used to sit back and say, it's good and bad, right? He would say, Bejaim, when she got an error, she was like, on that email, why did I get this error? Because it was a reflection of my job, right? I guess I look at it, maybe I took it personal in some way, but I'm like, I'm better than that. These are errors I shouldn't be making. What was I doing wrong? Did I let something personally get involved? My mind go somewhere else. And so attention to detail was always something important to me. And I've strived that, and I've been able to keep my team in an under 1% error. And so that's been something nice that I've been able to pass on, right? That I want them to have those, little ticks too, because if you're making errors, why are you making errors, right? Let's figure out let's dive deeper, right? Like I was telling my team the other day, how do we overcome the challenges of selling today than what we used to sell in our group, And I'm like, let's work through it. I can help you with wording. I'll help you pitch to a customer. I have no problem with that. And so I think that helps them, knowing that I'll step in the same shoes as them. I'll walk with the customer with them. I want them to be able to support, they support me, I support them.
That's one of the things I think people often don't see about sales, and every company's different, but it so happens in telcos, internet service providers, that the sales folks that are actually building relationships with customers, providing solutions and selling, also have to do the manual process of entering orders and doing like order entry and inside of our software, and there's error rates involved with that, and then also just managing customer service in general. Whether it's on the residential or the business side, that's a part of being in sales at GVTC, right?
And retaining on our end too.
And retaining, right?
Being able to renew them and get them locked in for another new contract. Like we said, that white glove of, effect that we have over in our small group is we are not only selling, but we're maintaining the customer, and we're walking through billing with the customer, and we also do ownership changes. Like when a business sells, they're handling that customer through and through from start to finish as long as they're with GVTC.
Account management as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So they wear a lot of hats in our group.
so you've had some new people join your team, right?
Yes.
And, we've started some new, kind of a new. Well, it's actually a bringing back an older initiative, but we've got outside sales now, right? And you're kind of standing all that back up again.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff for one leader to take on. I mean, how is it? How is that going? Is that something that you feel like is going well, or something you're excited about?
I am. I know that there is people we're not reaching on the day in, day out, calling, from our inbound team.
Right.
They are gonna, this group, having Sean, is going to give us the opportunity to reach other customers we probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm learning with him. We're walking through, with Jeff's help, we are, learning preemptive selling. So I'm putting on a new hat. I'm learning something new after 15 years of just working inside sales. I'm learning the whole new aspect of outside sales. And failure is not an option.
Yeah.
So at this rate, I told Sean, I'm walking in the same shoes as you. We're going to figure this out. There's challenges. There's challenges in anything new we take on, right? Now it's how do we overcome it? What do we need to do to make you successful? And so that's what Brandy and I are constantly, weekly we talk about it. What can we do to help him, right? How do we make this more successful? But not giving up is not an option. So
the good old, our VP of sales and marketing, both of our bosses, his favorite term, in fact, I think when he retires, we're going to have a celebration, and we're going to call it the assumptive sales end of an era.
Yes.
In fact, we have a drinking game at home whenever we hear assumptive sales. We because that is his thing, right?
He would be proud.
Yeah, he would. Shout out to Jeff Manick. But yeah, I mean, that's something that I think he's been really passionate about. Is right, creating solutions, and then also not being afraid to ask for the deal, right?
Yeah.
So many people are just afraid.
No's not a no.
Right, right. So on that line, we've talked a lot about sales. We talked a little bit about kind of your transition. I mean, tell me a little bit about, you got two beautiful children. You're living you live right down the road from me in New Braunfels, right? And
living the dream.
Married. I mean, tell us a little bit about what's family life like for you.
My husband and I married in 2008.
Nice.
We moved to New Braunfels for his work. He actually moved to New Braunfels prior to us getting married. He took on a sales position at the local radio station.
Oh, sales family.
Sales family. We compete.
Right. But dinner's interesting at your house.
So we have two beautiful girls. Greenlee's 10 and Everly is 8. Yeah, gosh, she'll be 8 November. Yeah, wow. We're growing up. We 2nd and 5th grade. Wow.
They just started back to school.
They did. Life's crazy.
Me and you were racing each other down.
Yes, down Walnut.
Down County Line Road in Walnut, trying to get to work on time. Right.
School zones, 3 schools in a row. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we are nonstop. Yeah. I feel like I don't know if weekends really are weekends anymore. It's just we don't come in the office, right? It's so busy right now until I think they get a little more independent and, just wait, John, just wait.
I know, it's coming for me too.
Just when I thought the toddler stage, then they just enter into a new stage, right?
It's like the meme you see on social now where it's like, people that brag about making it out of the infant stage and things are going to be so much easier now, and that's not actually the case at all.
It's just new.
I'm going to keep telling myself that though anyways, because it makes me feel better.
Right. But we're very involved in the community in New Braunfels. We do a lot with Stewart's Job at 92.1. We're very involved with a lot of events that they put on and host and go to. So the kids have kind of grown up being around a lot of that.
That's
and
good.
They love it. They love Green Hall. Who would think? They play in the dirt.
Yeah.
They're just being kids, right? It was so disappointing to know they cut that tree down in the back. I have so many pictures of my kids, you know, growing up down there on that. But New Braunfels it's grown so much
Yeah.
since I remember us moving here. But it's offered us more of a smaller town life coming from Houston area. So I mean, we would never go back even.
Yeah.
You know, my parents retired here, and so I'm fortunate. They live 6 doors down from me, so my kids are very involved with them, and we're getting into the nitty-gritty now of sports and
Wow.
that life. So I don't see it slowing down for a little while.
Yeah, it sounds pretty hectic. You know, one of the things I love about working here, like we were talking about, is just, you know, we have like things like the giving back to
Oh,
needy
yeah.
families and Thanksgiving and having my kids be a part of that. I know that you've
Yep.
participated in those type of things as well. Um, I mean, how does that, when you look at your kids and you think about like your family and how we are all in the community? I mean, there's kids that are, you know, going to school right across the street from us that have gotten scholarships and stuff. I mean, I always take a lot of pride in exposing my son and
Yeah.
eventually my daughter to those type of things as well. I mean, is that something that is a part of your kind of family dynamic and making sure that they
Yes.
know that we're giving back in that way?
Oh yeah, the girls have gone with me to do the Thanksgiving give back. They've helped me with that. This year they're going to participate in the 5K, so they'll be coming out in September for that.
Sweet.
Um,
Have
you
them
know,
run for me.
right? I know. I told him, I was like, don't beat me.
Yeah.
That's what I was teasing. My
Yeah.
little one loves to run. My older one,
Not so much.
you know, yeah, she's really girly.
You know, I get all
She's
sweaty.
a bougie kid.
I'm with
So-
her. I'm with her on that one. I don't know if you call me girly, but I don't like to run either.
But yes, they're very involved from even our church. They've gone to a lot of the functions that my husband's done. They started last year, my husband and my dad my husband's part of the food bank. He's on the board in New Braunfels. So the girls and my dad and him go and serve Thanksgiving in the morning. They go to Landa Park to go see the little baby deers always.
Wow.
And then from there they go and serve, and then they come back and watch football and we eat our dinner. But teaching them to give back is important.
Yeah.
You want to instill that in, you know, your children, and it's a good life lesson for
Absolutely.
them.
That's one of the biggest things that I've when he was younger, I had to force him to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
To
you
Thanksgiving
do.
give back because they're kids, right?
Yeah.
But after, you know, a couple of years, it got to a point where he was asking my older son,
Yeah.
he was asking, he wanted to come along to those type of things. And I
Yeah.
just think it was, you know, I don't think you would experience that type of dynamic working at other companies.
Oh,
you know?
no. I mean, we're such a small knit community. I mean, we're a good sized company, but think about all of the people that at our company that
Right.
donate to our foundation and come out to help. And it's amazing. It's great to see that. I mean, our barbecue cook team that we have, I mean, it's great to know that our employees are getting involved in being a part of the foundation and about our community and out and about. It's great. You're not just seeing individuals like ourselves in our group. You know, marketing goes out and does and sales do more than probably other people in other departments. And this gives them that opportunity to kind of be involved in the community.
Yeah.
And,
Do you think that a lot of our customers out there, like in Bernie, do you think they know the impact that we have and the things that we do in general?
I do think that. I think we're so involved with the chamber. The chamber there is one of our biggest cheerleaders, right?
Yeah.
Even our local chamber here, Bulverde.
Right.
I do think that they've really helped us, you know, stay connected to the community. I think it's now teaching the newer business, the younger businesses, how involved our foundation is. And, you know, that's taking them more getting, like I said, today the small business owner is really looking at the dollar.
Yeah.
You know, they might be our jumpers, right? But you do look at our older age, business owner and our big businesses, our school districts. They value that our company is very involved in the communities.
Yeah.
And I think that's helped us win a lot of business with them.
Yeah.
And for them to maintain business with us too.
Yeah, I mean, you're touching on something there that I've observed, is that, that our customers, just like we are as a company,
Yeah.
right? I mean, Dennis, your predecessor, he was in that role for 22, 23 years,
long
right?
time. I mean, Brandy's right behind him. I mean,
Right.
geez.
And they were, Dennis, I think he would even tell you, he was from the age of, closing deals with a handshake and all that.
Yeah.
And that type of business is evolving over
It
time, right?
is.
And a lot of people are ordering, want to order business service online and middle of the night type of stuff. You may never even see them, right?
Yep.
But you still have to build that relationship any way you can.
Yeah.
That we have to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how are you seeing that evolution change from the more face-to-face relationship building to more and more things becoming digital? Is that something you're seeing, or are you still?
Oh, I am.
speaking to your
Yeah.
team
That younger business owner, like you said, is so busy, probably looking at me like I'm the same way. I'm doing a lot of things at 8:30, 9 o'clock, laying in bed. I'm like, oh, I got to register the kids for this. I got to do this. Oh, my husband like looks at our calendar and he's like, really? Like,
Right.
when do we have free night? I'm like, we don't have free nights anymore,
Right.
So I do see that, where I'm able to do a lot of things online that I don't have the time to just pick up the phone and do what my mom used to do, right? Or go to the local community on a Saturday from 9 to 12 to sign me up for soccer. That's kind of out the door, I mean, I wish some of it would come back, but we do have to be available for customers. I do see where the online presence is important.
And that's actually a project we're working on,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
To be able to provide business customers. Now, business customers, depending on what they want, right? It can get pretty complex pretty quick,
can.
right?
But
But
it's
for the small mom and pop type shops,
Yeah.
if you just want broadband service,
Yeah.
you should be able to order that online, right?
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock at night
Right.
or whatever, right?
And I like I told my team not to be scared of that. Those are opportunities we could turn into adding more sales down the road, right? Taking those ones-off installs. Let's reach back out to those customers. Let's let them know of the other products they didn't know we had, right? Security, right? That's a product growing like crazy here at GVTC,
Yeah, it is.
And we've built it up a lot on our end. And that's thanks to a lot. Dennis was so involved in the security that he kind of gave us more insight on what we needed to be able to be up there and competitive on the commercial side.
Yeah.
It's not just like your home anymore.
Right.
Businesses get a benefit, their insurance. A lot of times they don't know that, or their landlord will require it. And so it's building that business. And now VoIP, we need to let people know we're out there. We are probably a better VoIP provider than what some of these other companies, because our customers get the experience of a tech installing it. We're not going to just ship you a phone and you plug it in.
Right.
We're going to be hands-on for you, So
It's more of a white glove service.
it
type
is,
thing, right?
yeah. So I told my team, we'll be able to reach out to these other individuals at a later date. Let's let them, it's not an end note just because they placed an order online. That's how got to stay positive, right?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm in the same boat. I think that a lot of the things that kind of really I love about GVTC on the community, or kind of the relationship and community side, right? But business continues to evolve.
They do,
right? And so, for me, it's really one of the big things that we're trying to figure out now, and we're going to continue to try to kind of move into our business, and is being able to keep that personal relationship, connect to people on a one-on-one basis, but do it in through different channels, right? I still want people to be able to come to our annual meeting and talk to us, and be able to see Mrs. Green and be like, hey, saw you last year. How you doing? It's good to see you again. But then also, as our area continues to change, as we all know it is, right, and evolve, and people that want to do business completely 100% digital, we want to be able to provide solutions for them as well.
Right. Because you do have that older generation that isn't, I guess I look at my parents, perfect example, right? My mom has a smartphone, but my dad doesn't. He is stuck on a flip
school
phone.
flip
He is
phone.
never gonna go any other direction, right? But my mom's willing to learn
Yeah.
for my dad, you know? But my dad's like, well, I don't want it to change. And I'm like, well, so I do see where the younger generation is more apt to, but they were also raised in school learning that technology. Where my parents weren't, or that age, 70s and 80s. And so change is hard at that time. So I do like that we're still keeping our roots, but yet we're developing and growing for that outside, that younger, like you said, we're a technology company. We're growing with it.
Even some of that stuff goes, I know it's kind of weird. My son's 19 and he's getting into, like, he just calls me randomly. He wants to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, where did this come from? Like,
right.
the guy that, first would only text, and sometimes he would text back, sometimes he wouldn't, and that would get him in trouble. But
Right.
now he's just like wants to talk on the phone. So I see like this also, like, there's changes happening too. I think so much of our communications become digital that there is some younger people that, and I'm probably, I'm painting with a broad brush here, but there are some people that want to talk on the phone and be able to have that relationship and
that connection, right?
Right. I think people are yearning for that.
I do too. And I think that that's also where we kind of come back to how we've developed our small team, is that you're talking to somebody always local. When you're working with GVTC, whether it's sales or whether it's trouble or technicians, I mean, you're talking to somebody local with our company, whether it's in our headquarters where we're here today, or where, in Bernie, and we do have some people down in the coast, our C-section area. You're never going to get just something shipped to you and you spend 5 hours trying to plug a box in. Let me tell you that experience with another provider I had. So, but it's a comfort of knowing that we still offer that. It can't completely go away. I don't think our customers will like that of us,
I'm with you.
So still staying to our roots, but still growing at the same time, right? Evolving, taking on those new, challenges.
Well, I know you've got to run here shortly, but one of the things I like to always kind of close out these conversations with is, you've accomplished a lot in your career. You've been here 15 years. You're now in leadership.
Yeah.
A lot of our younger teammates in our office, they're, kind of coming up, starting in their career. I mean, looking back on all your time here at GVTC, if you could give yourself one piece of advice back when you started, what would you go back and tell yourself about, kind of preparing for what you're going to do here at GVTC?
I would say stick with it. If you love it, stick with it, because GVTC will stick with you.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Wow.
I'm
going to wrap that up and turn that into a marketing campaign.
I do believe that. GVTC stuck with me. They gave me an opportunity and I took it.
Yeah.
Right? So when the door opens, take that opportunity and build on it, because you will get looked at, you will get recognized, and GVTC does, I believe, in their employees and their staff, and that's, been their biggest brand, I think.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
good. And so we're going to do the intro here. All right.
Back to the top.
All right.
Back to the top.
All right. Now I'm going to see if I do this better.
Okay.
So, welcome to the GVTC podcast. Today I am joined by a good friend of mine, and actually 2 offices down from me, Miss Benjamin Wolfe, who is our business sales supervisor.
Yeah. Thank you for having me today.
Awesome. Excited to have you. So I don't need to intro myself. Do I need to intro myself again?
Let's just do it more. Just do it so we have it if you don't mind.
Okay.